don't let people put you in a box. Y'all can have all 5 love languages. Okay? No, seriously, because people say, oh, why you have to have, you too much. I can't be bothered with you too much to handle.
Being a mommy is one of the most rewarding titles to have.
But we all know that it can be very challenging at times. Here on Mommy Crew Talks, we want to talk about the highs and lows of motherhood.
We will be sharing our experiences with one another and you.
We are not perfect, but we can give you some support and encouragement to continue to be the best mommy you can be.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Mommy Crew Talks. And of course, I'm here with my sister mommies, and we're going to talk about our favorite topic, and it is love and relationships. With everybody, with our children,
Yes.
with our friends, with our significant others. Ladies. We're going to talk a little later about what our love languages are, but what are your children's love language?
Oh,
Everybody ever thought of that?
yeah. Goods and services.
You got the
Can
I need
Yes.
money.
Right. That's their love language.
That's their love language. They want the newest thing out.
Everything.
When they go out, they need money. You can give them 50 today. Tomorrow they need another 50.
Right.
But otherwise, sometimes it's, Mommy, are you okay? Have reassurance that they still care. I get that sometimes.
When my daughter was younger, I think it was quality time. Quality time with my daughter when she was younger. Now that she's 18, it is more, what's the love language when you buy her stuff? Yeah.
Gifts.
Yes, she loves gifts. If I go out and buy her something right now, I'm the best mother in the world. So that is her love language right now. So it changed.
I think my children's love language is different with different people. So with me, I believe that their love language is more affection. They, all of my children, they need my affection more. It's probably because I can't cook, so love might be their thing. But they are also acts of service. Is a big love language for them. They're not really about goods. I don't know what that's about. Like,
That means you already give them what they want.
I think that's basically what it is. Like, so it's like, I think since they were born, I kind of anticipated their needs before they ever really had to ask for it.
Okay.
So I don't think they ask for a lot. So.
Okay. I would say mine is quality time, even at her age now. Of course, she likes other things, but yeah, both of them, son and daughter, quality time.
Yeah, son. I know that son loves your time. What about you, Mommy?
He's not here to defend himself.
I think my kids vary, but they split between, twin one, words of affirmation. You gotta pump him up to the thing. Twin 2 is more so the gifts, like, oh, you got this for me, you took for me. The girl, this is what I really call them in real life. In the house. The girl, she's like split between quality time and the gifts. And the boy, I don't know, he's just like weird now. Just leave him alone, because he's older, I guess. You just like leave him alone. So.
He likes food.
Right, that's true. Once I cook, he's happy. That's acts of service. So that's acts of service?
Right.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, there you go.
Just feed him. Okay, what about you?
Oh, well, my children are out of the house, so basically mine is going to always be acts of service for now on. And of course, quality time because they live out of state. So,
Did it change?
I'll say that it changed on my side, being that I'm the empty nester. Now I want more quality time, but now they're out there being adulting.
But when they were younger, do you think they wanted the same thing?
I over quality time when they were younger, and affection and all of that. And I think that's why they think they have too much now, so they don't need it. But my daughter definitely needs words of affirmation. She more wants to hear you just continue to affirm her instead of lecturing her or telling her your opinion.
Nice.
So what happens sometimes, when you give the affirmations, like I know, like with my daughter, she doesn't know how to receive it, like you're beautiful, like, and it's like, no. And when you give those positive affirmations and positive, words of to make
It's encouragement.
encouragement, it's always, no. So it's like, it's hard for her, because I feel like she feels a certain way about herself. So when hearing someone else, not only just me, say it, she doesn't receive it.
She's not seeing it yet.
You know what's crazy? That's me too, though. Like, all my life. Like, it was hard for me to take a compliment, and even now, from someone. So that's like, that's not a thing.
Is it a Virgo thing?
No, I'm a Leo, honey.
Oh,
But,
Maybe Virgo thing. I got Virgos.
yeah, but it's, right? It's hard, and I don't know why. Don't ask me. It makes me feel weird to like, so she probably feels the same way.
Tish, not to put you on the spot, but did you always do that? Or is it something you now learned, so now you're trying to do it?
I won't say I always did it, but I was always a big supporter of things that she liked, especially with the dancing and stuff like that. But then when I heard her say something in reference to how she looks and her appearance, she's dealing with acne now and all those other things, I try to reassure her that you're beautiful. You're beautiful in every way. You come from me.
I seen one video put like if she's not going to receive it verbally, she may be visual, put things up in her room or signs that you could find it. And it doesn't always have to say beautiful. It could say other words, but all of these things are still seeping in.
I used to do it by their nightlight.
And she'll always remember.
It says you're beautiful.
And send her a text throughout the day, and it may not say the words beautiful, but at the end of the day, she'll see that. You're just, because even if she doesn't appreciate it now, because all teens are going through acne and my body and this and that, she'll be like, you know what, growing up later, she'll be like, one thing about my mother, even if I didn't feel it or believe it, she always said it, because there's a lot of young people today that look back and they never heard their mother or father say you're beautiful, and it's like something that they looked for in other wrong places. Or somebody said you were beautiful and just used it as a lure to lure them in. So
that's like my little sister daughter. She said in the car the other day, she was like, a lot of people now is telling me, you so pretty, you so pretty. Was I ugly when I was young? Because I don't remember anybody ever telling me. She's like, I don't remember anybody. I said, everybody always used to tell you was pretty. You just was like shy and didn't listen to anyone. But like, she's like, was I ugly or something? Because I'm hearing that a lot now.
well, coming from my heritage too, because my mother says when she was young coming into this country from Trinidad, she had a fairer skinned sister and she was the dark skinny one. And they would come in, and at that time, our parents or grandparents didn't know to say, hey, don't come in and do that with my children.
Right.
So when they would come in and say, oh, she's the cute one, we have, people, we're that type now, this generation. We're mindful of, I'm not going to come. You don't even come in the house for one kid, a gift, and I have to, unless it's their birthday, whatever. But I think we're that generation that said, oh, let me just talk to you. You're not going to come here, and say, oh, you're so pretty. Because if that was me, it would have been, you'd have to turn around about face. You don't come in here,
No, but it's true, because even growing up, I never understood, like I would go to someone's house and I'll never forget this, and me and my cousin went, and they were like, oh, you're a pretty dark-skinned girl.
Right.
What is that?
I'm like, what is that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
Like, even then, I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Nobody ever corrected her, right? Because it was just that. I don't know, there was that light-skinned, dark-skinned thing going on at that time. So it was like, oh, you're also dark-skinned people are.
And both of my children have the same dad, but she's light and he's dark, but they look just alike. But people don't open up their eyes and see. So the first thing they say is, oh, she's so cute. They have different fathers. No, idiot. They got the same father. They look just alike. You're just looking at a complexion,
Right.
So I think this is, and I'm so grateful that this is the generation to stop people in their tracks and say, oh, hold up, honey.
Right.
How many of you tell your children openly that you love them?
All the time.
I don't do it often. Honestly, I don't. And I guess it's because in the household I grew up in, I've never heard my mom or my dad say, I love you. So I'm now getting into that groove. Like, even just the other day, when the two brothers had their little altercation with one another, and the next morning while I'm at work, I said, let me call and check up on the one that was very angry. And I said, I'm just calling to see how you're feeling today. I said, because, I don't like when you and your brother get into fights. It breaks my heart. He's like, I'm sorry, Mommy. I said, I just want you to know that I love you. And it's okay to be angry, but not to the extent that it got, with you and your brother having to fight one another. But I love you. I love you too, Mommy. But just recently, honestly, I've been letting them know that I love them.
That's for me. So I feel like my mother never told me I love you. I know that she loved me, but
Right.
like, again, Jamaican household, showing emotion and showing the kids that it's not existent. So I didn't start telling Skyla, which is my 19-year-old, that I love her until she was like the 4th grade. And I remember the day she got out the car and she was walking to school and I said, Sky, I love you. And she turned around and she was like, what? And I said, I love you. And she was like, okay. Like, even now when I tell her I love her, it's like very like stop, like ill. And I'm like, give me a kiss. And she's like, Whereas I've learned it with her, so now I tell the others and they're more receptive of it. So Madison will say I love you, London will say I love you, KK will say I love you, but Sky wouldn't. She's like, no, get out of here, don't touch me, like ill.
Both of you broke the mold, so that's the important thing. I still hear people that were born in the 50s and the 40s say, well, my mother, okay, well, stop the excuses.
Right.
Now it's time to do what your mother, okay, your mother never did that, your father never did that, I'm so sorry to hear it. Now it's time to, I was the ultimate. My kids had songs, I couldn't stop saying, my kid's father used to say, oh, you're gonna turn gay, you don't stop loving on him, kid. I'm like, shut up. I feel like the world is so, I think it's harder to say I love you to them now because they get on my nerves than it is when they were younger. So it's different for me. Oh, now I'm like, okay, did I say I love you? So I try to send it in a text. I try to send it in a card. And, it's harder to tell other adults you love them when they're not doing things your way.
I don't say it. I'm sorry.
You show it.
I show it. And because I guess that's how I learned how to show love and not really say it. It cringes me, I'm sorry, it does. It cringes me to say it, and even though, and my daughter probably is a little more affectionate than me, so she'd be like, Ma, I love you, and I'll be like, oh, like even affection, like.
You know what's sad with our families, I notice? When somebody dies, then we say it all the time for a long time. As soon as somebody passes away, you're like, love you, love you, love you, love you. Then the grief starts getting a little less, and then people stop saying it. And my grandmother was old-fashioned too. I can't remember her saying it 1,000 times, but I remember her showing it every time I was in her presence.
I find my children and I, we say it every day. When they leave the house in the morning, they'll scream up the stairs, hey, I'm going, I love you, Mom. My son will wake up in the morning and the first thing he'll do is hug me and say, I love you, Mom. And, I find that it's because I've always done it. I've always told them any minute, like I could just be sitting on the couch and looking at you, I love you. I love you so much. Me and the little one, and she'll run into that living room and she'll say, Mommy, Mommy. And I'm like, whoa, what happened? What happened? I love you so much. Oh. And I'm like, oh, I love you so much too.
Maybe my next child.
Oh, right. And I think it's mostly because I lost both my parents. And I realize that these memories that they have is what they're going to hold on to when they're no longer here, right? And I don't want them to ever sit there and say, I never heard my mother say I love you. Or question, I know she showed it, but I never heard it. Did she love me? Or, because I understand the questions after you lose a parent that you have about just different things. Right? And that's just one thing I never want them to question. So I'm sure to tell them all the time, and and that I'm proud of you. I don't think we say that a lot.
That's one thing I do say. I'm so proud of you. I said, even though you probably came a long way, I'm just like, it's okay to not be. It's okay to fall off. It's the saying, if at first you don't succeed, you try again because you're still here. So if it didn't happen now, that is not too late for whatever your heart desires, for if that, whatever is in you to flourish, you can do it. And I'm so proud of you. That's one thing I've always said. I'm like, I will always be your biggest supporter. You might get tired of me, like, oh my God, that's my mother.
But that's good that you say that, because even when you're saying I'm proud of you, she could be hearing your love. She could be hearing your compassion. So even though you think the beautiful thing is not getting in, all of those words of affirmation, they feed a spirit. You know, they feed your energy. When they get to school, I see parents drop their kids off, cussing them out, throwing them in the building. You know, I'm the first person in the building before they drop their kids off. And I'm like, what kind of day could this child possibly have? Get your stupid mother in the building. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to act like I don't hear it and then welcome them in. And if that's what's going on to get in the building, imagine what took place in the car or in the house.
We start our day with music. Y'all see it on Instagram. I'm playing Michael Jackson radio every morning. They need it.
One of my
But I
best
just
friends.
feel like it pumps them up, it gets them together.
That's excellent.
I'm dancing, I'm being silly. I could be sick, really having a bad morning, but I'm like, I don't want them to have that feeling. They go outside and project those feelings onto other people. So I'm like, Michael Jackson radio, let's be safe.
Tamika, what does Timothy say to you every morning?
Comes out, he goes, bye mommy, bye Mira, have a nice day, I love you, bye. Like, he says it every morning.
Like radio.
Every morning. And then Amira, she gets off the car, poof. Like, you know, so I would exactly. So I would say, like, Timothy, every day, all day. Love you, come, you're my best friend. And he'll tell me, but I love you more. And I'm like, no, I love you more. And he says, I love you infinity. So you know you can't beat that. You know, you can't do it with a mirror. Like, Mary, I love you. Close my door. So you know, she don't need those words of affirmation, because I could be like, "Ooh, Mary, you ugly." No, I'm not. I know I'm not ugly, so I don't know what you seeing. So her confidence is high. Like, there's not much to with a Mary. Timothy, that's my boo. I don't have a favorite though.
She's telling on herself.
Amira is
sure
a
she sees
teen girl, and she just does what she wants. Timothy is a mama's boy.
One key thing that you said, I think is so excellent, is the quality time in the morning.
Yes.
One of my, I know it's hard because we're ripping and running, we're trying to get out the house. You know, you poor folks that still have little children at home, but no. I'm just trying to get one person out, and it's hard. But that quality times remind me of one of my best friends. She has prayer with her children every morning. I'm like, okay, what do you want, a trophy, an award? You want to move in the White House? Where do you find time? I mean, she has her kids, they all get dressed, and she knows, they know, meet in the living room at this time, and we having a prayer.
Wow.
They stand in a circle and they do a little prayer. I be like,
Wow.
all right, don't let my kids hear that.
Yeah.
I could try it once here, it just doesn't work. You know, you have to have your time, but that quality time and those memories that you spoke about, that's just, that resonates, because God forbid, you know, when we leave this earth, all they have are those memories. And those are the things that should encourage us, even when we want to yell, cuss, fuss, say, Lord, you know, we still got to do what we got to do as parents, but think about, what memory am I leaving this child if this is what I say or how I act.
And then if you think about everything that's going on in the world right now, it's like, I don't want you to leave this door without knowing that I love you and hearing it from you.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Guess we'll all hold ourselves to that this week and come forward.
It helps you.
I'm really listening to you guys, and I'm really gonna make an effort. I mean, I just gotta get out my own.
Stand in the mirror.
Right. And she's gonna give you some pushback to begin with.
She's not. She likes that stuff. She's the only child. She wants all of it.
And you have to give it.
She's very
I give her all
receptive.
my money.
That's my love language. Come on, I believe you love me.
That was my mother's love language to me.
Ain't nothing wrong with
Buy
that.
her anything she wants.
Yeah, like,
I don't have to tell her I love her, but she'll have everything. And I did. And people, I had friends that couldn't stand me on the low, which I found out later on. It's like, oh, she thinks she'll that because her mother gives, and I'm like, I didn't ask for it.
Right.
That's just how she showed me that she loved me.
That's a love language.
I'm gonna accept it.
So I find that, right, when you love somebody with a love language that is yours and not theirs, it causes a period of time where people have to sometimes go to counseling, right, to deal with that, because they have to come to terms with the fact that they didn't receive love the way that they wanted to, but their parents gave them love the way that they knew how, right? So now as a parent, I find that I ask these questions. I ask them, my middle daughter is not very touchy-feely, and because of that, sometimes I don't hug her as much. I don't give her that type of affection as much, but I tend to find myself asking her when she wants affection because I don't want her to ever feel like, well, she hugged them and, she didn't hug me. Or, I know what I would want, but I always ask, so tell me, what do you want? Do you want me to do this or do you want me to do that? Do you need me to be at this play or can I go to work? Because, I don't want them to ever feel like they didn't receive what they needed from me. And we all know adults, and some of us are those adults that we are now coming to terms with the fact that our parents loved us the only way that they knew how, even though we felt something missing.
Because back in our day, we didn't have options. It's whatever they said, that's what they wanted. We giving our kids options. Do you want this or that? Like we didn't have that opportunity.
No, not at all.
That's why they privileged now.
It's communication. It's the communication, and what I was hearing when you said that was, that's great because it also teaches them to have boundaries of just because that's Uncle Charlie or Auntie such and such. If you don't want them hugging you, you don't want them kissing you, you don't have to have that. Because then they know, hold up, my mother lets me. It's not just because you're my family or my mother's best friend that you have to be hugging me, touching me. Those things are important.
I had that conversation just recently with sharing. Like, I hate when people, like, kids, your kids don't share. I don't do that.
Yeah.
If you don't want to share, you don't have to share.
No.
I'll be the bad guy, but if you don't want to share your toy, you don't have to share your toy.
Yeah, so, I tell my class that all the time. They're like, this does not share with me, and I share. I'm like, it's not yours. It's not yours. It's okay. They're not gonna.
I'm not gonna lie. I've always thought you teach people kids to share, so I don't know. So I need to elaborate. So why not?
Because I just feel like it's boundaries. This is mine. Why do I have to share with you? It's just a boundary that I'm trying to teach them now in the younger age because now I'm learning boundaries.
Right.
And I feel like the same thing with hugging and kissing. Like, if you don't want to give such and such a hug, you don't have to. Just be courteous. Hi, how you doing? Good afternoon. You don't got to give hugs and kisses.
Exactly. A lot of the things that our parents taught us was just basic manners. It was us, them not allowing us to set our own boundaries of what we felt comfortable with.
Right.
So, like, that's not trusting us with our feelings. And it's not, if we don't allow our children to make their own decisions, then it's not allowing them to be autonomous with their own feelings and learn how to navigate those areas, right? Like when you said with the hugs, like my daughter will allow me to hug her and the little one will try to go and hug her and she's like, get off of me, right? And it's like, she said, don't touch her. And it hurts the little one's feelings, but she has to understand that the same way, if she doesn't want to be touched, don't touch her. Right. And if you don't want to be touched, that's okay too. Nobody has the right to do any of that. And it's the same thing with everything. Her hair, don't allow anybody to touch your hair. If you don't want them to touch it, don't allow them to touch it. They need to learn these boundaries because guess what? We are learning to set them now ourselves. Like people are taking advantage of me because we were told we had to share all the time.
I think though where I get that from is knowing adults that use that as an excuse. You gotta forgive me for this nasty attitude because I'm an only child. And I've come encounter at work, at church, or this person, they don't get along with everybody, blah, blah, blah. I'm used to I was one child. I didn't have to share anything with anybody. And then you don't know how to have yourself around other people. You can't have it both ways. You understand what I'm saying? So I think the top thing that you said is the courtesy. It's nothing wrong with not sharing, but it doesn't mean I have to grab my toy and bust your head in the process. It's like, no, I really don't feel like sharing because I respect people who say, adults that say, oh, I really don't want to do that, or I really don't want to go anywhere, rather than the people, because I'm one of those people, I want to be courteous all the time, which has kicked me in my behind plenty of times because I should have said, I don't want to go. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, I don't like the way that makes me feel. But because I'm courteous Kathy, so that is something.
That leads into our other relationships. And how we, like April said, we have certain love languages and we expect everyone else to kind of receive it the way we give it, right? So myself and Leslie are really good friends, but I know that I can boost Leslie up. I can give her words of affirmation. She loves a gift, a good gift, a good glittery gift. So I need to, right? So I need to, if I want to be her friend, that's what I need to do for her. We don't, I don't think enough people pay attention to that though. And that's why people end up falling out. And again, like I know April says what's on her mind, and she don't like, you know, she's trying to curb it now because we're adults. But April, were you the only child? No, she wasn't. She definitely wasn't the only child, but she act like it. But you know, you gotta just let people be them, and if you want to be in their company and have a friendship or a relationship with them, we need to learn what their love language is. I think that is very important.
I agree.
April hit that on the dot, and I mean, I've heard of the 5 love languages many years ago, but it was always directed in relationship with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, a husband, a wife. But the 5 languages to me is so important in any relationship, like Crystal said, because I heard my sister say a long time ago about one of her friends. She said, I'm her best friend, but she's not my best friend. And it didn't make sense to me. And then I see relationships, I see myself, you know, one of my prayers is, Lord, how could I be better? Because the Bible says you want friends, you have to show yourself friendly, you know, however that may be. So I think it's very important, because I had a situation with one of my ex. He likes acts of service. He will come, he will clean your house, he will clean your stove, he will cook, he will clean your car. And that ain't my love language. He need to go, Crystal, give me I want some gifts. And then I had another relationship, and the person just spoiled me with gifts and quality time, and I was so happy. But he was using it for manipulation. So
there you go.
I was getting my love language.
But
that's another topic. So yeah, you gotta know your love language.
What's your love language, Tisha?
My love language? I need, like, that I need from someone else.
Yes, that you need from someone else.
Like relationship wise?
I need affirmations. I need.
With friendships and relationships.
Oh, I mean.
Or is it the same, or is it?
It's, for me, it's the same. It's the same for me, because even though I might play around, joke around, I might be the life of the party, but be real with me. And it's so, like, I'm gonna go to relationships. Tell me I'm pretty. Tell me, like, let me know that you're into me by what you're saying. You don't necessarily have to buy me gifts. Just your acts of services shows me that you want to be around, you know. And even like with my friends, you know, I have friends that we speak all the time, and I want to be able to tell you if I don't like something without you feeling a way about it. And it's breaking our bond or relationship up, because if you're my friend, I should be able to tell you if I don't like something, or if you did something that bothered me without judgment, you know. And we can talk about it and move on from it. And that's how it is. That's how my love language will be in my relationship as well. We shouldn't have to dwell on things that's not bringing any form of growth into our relationships.
I like that.
You know? But affirmations, acts of service.
I like pretty girl.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Even with my husband, even though we're separated, he has always complimented me out of the blue, without me even, you know. We would sit right here. It's like, so beautiful, or you look really nice today.
I don't know how to take
You
that.
did your eyebrows.
I don't know how to take that.
You know, and I would just blush, and I would just say, you know, thank you. but it shows that he's paying attention. You know,
It's true.
he's into me.
She said, I don't know how to take
Oh,
that.
no.
I'd be like, you didn't tell me I look good
Yeah,
today.
right. No, I
He didn't even know
like,
I got my hair done, right?
Just came out the bathroom.
He'd be like,
You
so
had
pretty. I'm like,
3 seconds.
But acts of services, you know, affirmation, compliments, I love it. I love compliments. But don't tell me that with me being friendly, because this is who I am,
Right.
that I'm being fake, or I'm a pretender, or I'm being phony. Because then that tells me that you really don't know me,
There you go.
you know? But
All right,
I
Tisha.
digress.
Tamika, what's your love language?
I don't have any, I don't think. Okay.
Yes, you
I
do.
like, you think you know me?
I know you.
In like relationships, words of affirmation, like, I don't get it.
Ooh.
No, but I'm used to not, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so used to,
Not getting it.
like, you know, he don't say, oh my God, you look so nice. Because if he, like he says it, but it'd be like,
Very sporadic.
very sporadic, and it's like, you are physical touch.
You like being touched.
I should touch me.
You like me?
I'm like, yeah, so he'll say, when he does it, I'm like, huh? What happened? He's like, no, yeah, you look nice. You look nice today. I'm like, oh, thank you. And you know, those moments feel good. It don't come a lot. Like, he don't say it a lot. But, you know, I like gifts. And, you know, I don't know. What would you say my love language is, since you know me so well?
In her friendships, quality time.
Oh yeah.
She
trying to
is
say
a
I'm going too
quality
much?
time hog. Okay?
Damn, is that a bad thing?
No, I did not say that. I tried to give it to you. That's your love language.
Yes.
So that's why I'll come over on a random day and just sit with you because that's what you like.
But you know what's crazy? She doesn't like that from everybody.
She doesn't.
She doesn't. She rather be upstairs watching SVU. But if yes,
Exactly.
if she's with, it depends. She's very weird. Like you know.
You know I'm sitting right here.
No, I know. But no. I mean, you do like quality time, but you're very picky with it.
It depends on who the person is.
Right.
I think that's why I said I don't know if I have a specific love language because
I think your love language with different people.
It
You have
varies,
different friends.
right?
Nobody's
different-
love language
right.
is just, it grows with your age, it changes in a mood, and I think it goes back to what you said on how much a person knows you, because you're gonna know at 5 o'clock what love language I need, and that's the beautiful part of communication in a relationship. You do the research, you find out. You just don't, and you want me to be all, sorry, this is an adult show, moist and creamy when we get in the bedroom. What did you do from 9 to 5 to get me there? It's just not gonna be unlock this door and then you get somebody swinging from the chandelier. You want me to swing from the chandelier? And it's gonna take some work. You know the sad part is when you have somebody that knows your love language from 1 to 10, baby, even the ones that's not in the book.
Okay.
And then you gotta get with somebody who won't even put the effort or knows it and won't do the work. It's like, oh no, honey, I would not settle for this anymore. Once your love language is no,
Is right.
woo,
Had a good
honey.
experience if somebody's satisfied.
My. It will take you to just live without it before you settle for anything less. Trust and believe me when I tell you.
Ooh, girl.
I know that. That's that knowledge. That's that knowledge.
What's your love language?
My love language is definitely acts of services. So I just found out my love languages in this new relationship that I'm in. And
Are you in a new relationship?
I am.
You don't see that glow? Coming to that wedding.
So like he'll come and he'll clean my freezer out and my fridge and take my trash and help me organize the basement. And I like stuff like
That's
that. And I'm like,
nice.
really
I like that. Like
That's love.
I like
yes.
that too.
So definitely acts of services and gifts. I like gifts because I'm not. This is the first relationship that I've been in where I've received gifts.
Wow.
So I'm usually I just want it, I buy it, or my mom will buy me everything. I like but definitely his love language is touch. He likes touching. He likes me touching him, and so I know that that's his. That's not mine. But I won't like move away if he does, which I normally would if people were to touch me. But yeah, acts of services.
I love it.
Mommy Jamie,
Yes.
what's your love language?
All of them. I want every
High five. That's
I
right.
don't want to be put in no box. I want it all.
I know that's right.
Yes.
Give it to me,
Yes.
baby.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
So she's single, ready to mingle, and she wants.
Her number is 347.
Leslie, what's your love language?
I'm just a mess. I take a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie to you. Listen, contact one of my friends. I take a lot of work. But the thing is, I put in a lot of work. I put in a lot of work. I break my neck for you. If this is what you like, let me say something. I used to date this dude, keep it short and sweet. And he just doesn't know how to keep it home. Just put it like that. But I did everything. He had to be at work for 7. I would get up at 5 o'clock and make his breakfast so he could take it, I'm telling on him now, to the construction site with him. And his friends completely, oh my God. And I didn't have to be at work till 10. but it's because I loved him and I thought, you know, he was doing the right thing. And his friends were so jealous. Sometimes I'd send a little extra and I'd get up so it would be hot. When he got off of work, I would put the beer in the freezer 30 minutes before I knew he was getting off the train, mop the floor 45 minutes before I knew he was, because I just wanted it to be, because see honey, what you do with, you don't know, leave them with a memory. They'll never stop. And even his ex-girlfriend, because he's been on 4 or 5 since then, called me. She's like, girl, what did you do? What are you talking about? Les used to do this, Les used to do that, Les used to do, because I gave you my best.
Right.
So I want you to remember, when you didn't give me yours, and years later when you out there looking, trying to find a resemblance, it's not gonna happen, honey. It's not gonna happen. But my love language is like Jamie. I'm a mixture of all the things at any different time. But my thing is, you have to be smart enough to do the work to find out what it is that I need on this particular day.
Exactly. Different days.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
Listen, you got a husband. He's over there. Honey, what's her love language?
He's not gonna tell you.
Exactly. I know she's a lot of work. Slip a little note over here to the cameraman.
Not at all. I'm easy. I'm easy.
What's your love language, April?
My love language is quality time and
He
words
write-
of
he write it down.
affirmation.
I ain't getting in the doghouse no more.
I'm so glad I came today.
What's my love languages?
He's out the film, so.
Physical touch,
He said it.
right? So I'm not a gifts person. You know, you don't really have
Return that gift. Return that gift you bought yesterday.
Right. If it's something that I want, I will let you know. But you don't have to surprise me with gifts or anything like that. If I don't get gifts, I'm okay with it.
I like to be
I like surprises.
But I do. I'm all about. I'm big on quality time
That's right.
and words of affirmation. You know, even with my friends. Like, how often do I just text you and tell you I love you? So it's like, you know, I love you. You're awesome. You're being a great mom. You're a boss. You know, like I do things like that for everybody often. And, you know, but I'm also very receptive to receiving how people, I know what other people's love languages are. Like I know what my friends' love languages are. So when they give me things that is connected to their love language, I accept it openly. And I understand that if they are showing me love because I know that's how they like to receive it. Right? And there are times though when I find that when I'm tired, I don't give like, I know that people need certain, you know,
You can't
they
get
have certain love languages, and I just can't give it. Like I know, like my husband, his love language is acts of service. I be tired sometimes.
He got that hat on. We can't see his facial expression. Sorry, y'all. I can't tell you.
Right? So, you know, in that relationship, even when I'm tired, I had to, you know, have a conversation with him. Like, I'm not Leslie. I'm sorry, you know.
Today.
Like when you look back at this, Leslie, you're going to see how my face was looking at you the whole time he was talking. Okay.
Leslie making it bad for all of us, right?
Listen.
No, not really. I'm like, leave a memory. Okay.
No, because if you put in the work, it's even because I want to show you how much I love you. But the backside of that is once I have put in everything that I could put in and it's not reciprocated, when you do come around, let me tell you, my gifts is acts of service. But his love language was acts of service, right? But I don't want you doing anything because now you've messed up and it's a makeup.
Right.
I don't like that. Like, don't come and surprise me with a gift because you messed up.
Right.
You know, well, it depends on the size. But I'm serious. Like, do it because you love me. Were you thinking about me at 2:15? Like, you know, if I say I like flowers delivered to my job, this person has bought me 1,001 flowers, but I want them delivered to my job. I want them on my desk.
Right.
When at the time when I would take the train, he said, "You too clumsy. You're gonna drop it on the train. You're gonna spill the water on the train. You're gonna fall down on the train. You're gonna fall down the steps. So what? Let me fall with them. Send it to me the way that I want it. You understand? So I'm serious. Don't just. So sometimes when he started giving me flowers, I would just leave them in the paper. That's not what I wanted. Don't give people things the way you want to give it to them.
Right.
Give it to me the way that I want it. Because when you want it, I'm giving it to you the way that you want it, right? I'm sorry.
True. Yeah, I've always wanted flowers delivered at work, and I would say it over and over and over.
Okay.
And then he came with the flowers outside of work, and I'm like, that's not the same thing. That's what I asked for.
I wanted them to come in the door and I go, who are these flowers from? then when they came to my church or my house and gave it to me, I go to church and give it to the old ladies, give it to this person. I'm like, I don't want that. And one time I got caught because the lady was walking out. He said, those look like the fly. Oh yeah, let's talk about something else. Oh yeah, so how you doing today? Yeah, don't do it my way.
So my question is,
Oh Lord.
the question is, if you didn't like that, why did you tell him a story? I would have been like, those are the flowers you gave me. I wanted them a certain way.
He knew. I know.
So just acting like that, but no, I cannot. I like, what? This is that is crazy. Again, listen. You have to be able to receive people's acts of services the way that not acts of services, the way they're showing you love.
But
right?
isn't that their love language though?
It depends. Yeah, it could be their love language. However, your problem is not that he wasn't showing you love the way you wanted to be loved.
Right.
It was that he wasn't listening.
That's it. You said it.
That was it.
Well, to me, it's a control thing. It's a
listening.
control. You want to control because you want to do it your way.
Right. So, that's a different story.
Yeah.
I would have an example as, my love language is not acts of services, but my husband's love language is acts of services. So he will make sure everything is the way it should be so that I don't have to stress.
Nice.
That makes me feel loved.
Excellent.
Right?
Aww.
Even if that's not my love language, it makes me feel loved because that's not something I have to worry about.
Right.
And if it wasn't there, I probably would fall apart. I'd be like, okay, what's gonna happen? But I mean, I can take care of it if I wanted to.
Right.
But that shows me that, or the fact that he'll go to the store and he'll come back with a candy that I like.
I love it. That's
right?
thoughtful.
And it's like, I didn't need that gift.
Right.
I didn't need those things, but I'm thankful. I'm not a sneakerhead, but if he sees sneakers that he think I would like, he'll order them.
Nice. And there's nothing wrong, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with somebody giving you their love languages. All I say is, as a man or a woman in your relationship, if you're giving your best, finesse their love languages.
Right.
It's easy for me to give you what I like. That's an easy thing. But I've been in a relationship and given somebody all the things that I thought they liked. That's not what they like. That means I didn't do my research. So I'm just saying, do your research for the person you love.
You need to communicate. You need to be honest.
Yes.
Crying and he's bringing home bags and you just want to hug.
Right. And you need to be. You need to be watchful and looking, because sometimes you're begging somebody for something that they're never going to give you.
Right about
so
that.
you just need to move on, because that's what the issue is. Because the right person, it didn't matter. If they brought those flowers to your job, you would take them upstairs and say, look what my man bought me.
You're right.
If it was the right person,
Yeah.
What's the love language, Crystal?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
So then you can't get mad at nobody.
No. I don't know if it's gift, because I always say, like, I don't care about gifts, but I never really received them like that. So I don't know if I like it, if that makes sense, right? But I'm a person, I pick up what I want. It's weird for people to get stuff for me, like, I'm not a big words of affirmation person. No, it cringes me when people compliment me. Maybe
Everything
counseling.
cringes. I'm about to say, you need to talk to somebody.
I don't know what the love language is. Listen, like if you have a lot on your plate, you like just to be able to vent. What's the love language for that?
it's not.
Okay, sorry.
No, I don't like to be touched. I don't have a love language.
You do.
Everybody has.
Your love language is acts of services,
Correct.
but you don't receive it often.
Mhm.
So
But you
you
did-
just
you do
Just tell her business,
But
why
your
don't
love
you?
language
I know,
no,
just tell him he ain't doing it.
but that could be from anybody.
Yes,
that
that's
could be
true,
from
yeah.
anybody, because you're used to doing everything.
Your mother hen.
You don't receive acts of services as often as you should.
I realize that I really don't receive love openly from anybody, if that makes sense, right? Because even when, like, I know when I'm going through things like Leslie, and all of you guys, like, will try to do stuff, and or they'll ask me what, oh my God, that's the biggest thing, like asking me,
Nothing.
what do you want?
Just
And
send it.
it's just like, don't ask me that, like, I don't know, like.
And it's okay not to know.
Right, so I'm kind of learning at a whole 40 years old, what I
that's
really,
okay.
I just
right,
learned.
what I
That's
really
okay.
like and don't like. I'm still learning. I don't really know for sure which one I would prefer out of the love languages.
So can I bring this back to like motherhood? So the thing that you said about, showing love or telling, your daughter that you love her, and what you're saying right now is very much connected, right? And my question to you is, you're working on it, but my question to you is, do you want her not to know when it's her time, what her love language is, how she receives love, or if she even receives love?
Oh, she knows. She's very clear and vocal about how she likes to be loved, right? Because we talk about it often.
Right.
She knows that I'm very like, I don't know. Still, we have very open conversations about it. So she knows, and I'm happy that she knows at her young age. I tell her I don't really know. Like, even when she tries to buy me stuff, I'm like, just give me the money because I'll get it myself. Like, I don't know if I feel like I don't deserve anybody to put in that much thought of it. I don't know.
You just find it easier to do it yourself, but you think it might not be done the right way.
You know what I think it is? And I think sometimes it's like that for me, even though I might say, yeah, I like gifts and stuff like that, but I'm kind of also like Tisha and Chrissy and whomever don't really receive gifts. I've always been a giver. If we're having a conversation and we're talking about something and I happen to hear you mention something, I'm not going to tell you I'm going to go and do,
Take a note.
or, but probably within the next 2 days or the next week, I'm like, hey, where are you? Come see me when you're finished. And the same thing I heard you mention about that you wanted or you were paying attention to, this is for you, like.
That's me. I love to surprise people. I love to give things to people that make
find
them
joy
feel
in
good,
that.
and that makes me feel
People
good.
that get surprises
I wanted that
don't
expensive
get it back.
jacket.
I don't get it back.
People that I've learned that people that do, like, I would do things to surprise my grandmother or different people, and the joy I got out of it was watching her experience it, because I'm like, nobody thinks to say, well, let me surprise. I don't know. I don't think I really have no surprises, because I think when you're a joyful person or a happy person, people are like, you're fine, you don't need that. You're just there. But sometimes, just like they say, the encourager sometimes need encouragement as well. It is nice sometimes for the person to do that, does whatever to get it back.
Right, and it's like we don't look for it, right?
But
We don't look for it is because, like you said, just the joy, just to see that joy in your face. I'm satisfied.
Yeah, that makes you feel good.
I'm satisfied. So I guess if it's something more of you haven't had it. So it's like I've never even experienced it to even know how to receive it.
Yeah.
You know, if I am getting a gift, I already know what it is, so it doesn't really.
Right. So it's like a person.
AirPods, you didn't know.
They're right. That was really nice. That was not. I wanted it, so I was happy about it, but I'm not sure if I was like.
I listened.
No. Well, that's out of my. You know what's so crazy? I think I expect more out of my friendships than I do my relationships. Right? I do put in a lot in my friendships because I just feel like in this time of my life it lasts longer. Right? Like yeah.
Sometimes we get more of what we need from our
because
friendships.
you guys would listen more. Because that means that I'm not really connected with the right person. But you got to listen more and kind of understand, or, like, you guys are not going to do anything to make me feel uncomfortable. In my relationship, I feel like things are done with an intention to hurt sometimes. Like maliciously, right. So it's like, I can't trust you. And it's like, I'm not going to put my energy there.
Right.
So my friendships mean a little bit more.
So, essentially, trust is the backbone to love, right? And because you lack a level of trust with most, that's the reason why it's hard for you to figure out what your love language is.
Yeah, that's true.
But I would tell you, my love language with me is quality time. She like wanting to be with me. That's
No.
That's all she needs. But
I don't have a whole slew of friends like that. I just, you know, you grow up, you see certain things, and
Because you have the best sister in the world. So you
I go off of everyone's vibe, and I like encouragers.
Yeah.
Right? I like people that encourage, and I like to encourage. So I tend to stick to those kind of people, but I just don't like that whole bag of friends. I don't have the attention span to fit everyone's needs, right? Because I've had friends that were very needy, and I'm like, oh, I can't do it. It's exhausting.
It is. I have a friend that teases me because I have some friends that are like that. Like they just, it's always a sob story, or it's always a, you know, it's just something, I can't explain it. My friend is like, because you feed them. You sit there and you listen to it for 2 or 3 hours, you know, and I want to listen to it because they listen to me, you know, but there's also a boundary line where you say, all right, you're going to get out of this, but you don't want to be offensive and say, because you got to give people a chance to wallow in whatever they're going through, but not for too long. Because I feel if you're a true friend, you say, all right, sis, I love you, bro, I love you, it's time to get out of that. But some people don't want to be pushed. They feel like, oh, you're not giving me enough time, you know, to be in it. But
or you could be like me, and I'll be like, I gotta hear this again.
no.
Are we gonna say the same thing?
That's April, so
We not gonna say this again.
I'm like that. I'm like that with my friends. I'm like, okay, this wasn't the first time you've said this. So what's your plan on changing it?
But I said that's what friends they got offensive.
No, like I said, if you're my friend, we should be able to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not your first time mentioning this, so going forward, what's the plan?
Right.
What's the plan going forward?
Now, you know,
Because guess what? If nothing changes, the dynamics of things or whatever's going on with you, it's not going to change.
Yeah.
So what is your plan moving forward?
Tough love is what you're giving.
I'm not saying you have to forget about it, but what are you gaining from it? What are you gaining staying stagnant in something that's not making you grow or flourish?
Oh, that's so good.
What are you gaining?
You see, that's good. I really say, you got 1, maybe 2 times. That 3rd time, I'm like, we gonna talk about this again because you're gonna do the same thing. So I'm not doing it. Like, make a choice. Either you're doing this or you're doing that. Other than that, we don't move on to something.
I think sometimes
That's
it's
why I
therapy.
got 4 friends.
Sometimes I think it's therapy, and it does take a lot, you know, because I think one of my friends just taught me, not really taught me, but she showed me, she exposed me, she said, if you're my friend and you love me, I expect you to know or to listen or to know this is what I need or need it at that particular time. So, you know, it's just a learning lesson. And I think just because somebody's been your friends for 10 or 20 or 30 years,
That doesn't
still
mean
grow
that they
different.
know. Right.
Because if we're not together on a daily basis, I don't know what you like on a daily basis. And what I give you may not be, it may be what I thought was good 20 years ago. So,
You see, therapists get paid.
I know. And I don't.
An hour, okay? An hour. And the truth is, that is absolutely correct. But nobody is a mind reader about what anybody needs.
True.
So you really have to, like, I can tell you what I want, I can tell you what I need, and then you can either give it to me or decide not to. But then I'm not going to be like, oh, you know,
You're right.
you know, I expected you to know this if I never said it.
Right.
So you have to be very communication, right? You have to be very open about your needs. And guess what? People need to understand that people change. So your needs at one moment might not be your needs at another time, right? So, but you also have to be very in tune with what your needs are. So in any relationship, in your relationship with your children, in your relationship with your friends, in your relationship with a significant other, if you don't know what you need and if you don't know what your needs are, then it's not going to work.
Right.
Any of those relationships,
I
right?
agree.
Because there are times where my kids hurt my feelings, right?
They will.
However, at that moment, I have to rein it in and I have to understand, like, I know what I need from them and I need to tell them, I'm bothered by you doing this, even your children, right? I'm bothered by you doing this, if you can do this, right? But I have to reciprocate that. right? And allow them to tell me the things that they need from me when they need it, right? We have to know ourselves in order to know you cannot love if you do not love yourself. And if you don't know the things that you need, and if you don't know the things that's going to make you flourish and grow, the things that make you hurt and cry, then you are not loving yourself the way that you should. So before we could talk about any other relationships and your love language, think about what your love language to yourself is.
It's true.
Nice one.
It's very true.
All right, Sister Soldier, you better come on. She about to be a therapist. Yeah, we'll put her number at the end of this episode.
Correct.
No, but that
You only get one chance though.
right.
Don't come back to her with the same story. You might as well go.
It makes sense, and yes, I am still learning myself, so that's why, yeah.
That's why we're still evolving. We're still growing. We're still
Absolutely.
learning.
Every day.
Right.
I tell people
Every
all the
day.
time, don't get caught up with the hair, the makeup, the outfits, the car, the home.
Exactly.
Everybody is still learning something about themselves.
Absolutely.
And again, you can learn yourself, but learn to love yourself. Because those you can know everything about yourself and still not like it.
It's true.
Right?
It's true.
And if you don't like it, then you need to do something about it.
Mhm.
Right? Either learn to love it, right? Like these stretch marks and things that are going on, you know. I'm not working out, so I learned to love it. Okay? I'm not going to the gym, so you're gonna take these little rolls and stuff
That's
that's
right.
coming on the side. I'm gonna dress myself a little different. But if there are things that you don't like about yourself. I didn't like that a lot of the times I would be mean to people, right?
You didn't like that?
I didn't. I didn't. You knew I was real mean. You remember me in college.
Yeah.
I used to
saying you
say
didn't like
things to
that.
people like,
That was like a joy.
like, shut up, nobody wants to hear what you
Yeah.
say. Right?
In mid-convo,
Yep.
passionate, the person is passionate, and all you hear is like, nobody cares. And you be like,
Shut them down.
you be like,
And
dang.
you didn't like that about yourself?
You know
That was
what?
you.
I didn't, as time went on, I did not like that about
Oh,
myself.
okay, that's nice.
And I learned to change it to, okay. Or, do you want to hear what I have to say, or should I just listen?
Yeah,
Okay.
my
Right?
friend,
Growth.
tell her to listen.
Growth.
No.
Right? So that is
Growth.
growth. And if you tell me to listen, I will listen. And if you tell me what you want to hear what I have to say, then I say what I have to say. But that took time. That took, you know.
And our children
Issues.
watch the way we handle our friendships
And
too.
oh,
so
please, my children think I'm savage. Period.
they watch
Alright.
us too. And I have to tell my daughter because she will go to a pool because I'm a friendly person. She'll go to a pool for 5 minutes. She's like, Ma, I met my best friend. I'm like, oh, really? But Diamond, that is not your best friend. You have to know people. You have a lot to know before they become your best friend. And then when they end up hurting her, like she does here. So one girl, she's like, oh my, she's just this, she's that. I said, and every time I turn around, you're doing her hair. So it sounds like this is a, can you do my hair friendship? And then the girl ended up hurting her. And I didn't want to say, I told you so, you know, but they learned from us. And sometimes I hate being so nice because I don't want that niceness I don't want them to be too nice in the world that we live in and then get used or taken advantage of, you know, from being so nice.
Discernment, that's what it is. Because you can't say don't be nice. They just have to know who to be nice to.
When to be nice,
And when
yes.
to be nice. So it's discernment, but it takes time.
And experience. So they don't have
So you're gonna get hurt a few times before you get
You're
it.
gonna from everybody, from even us. If we might say things, yeah. Because I know Kamaya, she likes to yell, "You're not listening to me. You're not listening to
She
me."
gets that from you.
And I don't even talk to people like that, but she is not listening to me. So I'm like, okay. But the stuff she's saying is just like, oh my God. I'm gonna just let her keep saying it. All right.
And you just listen. My best
And I
friend
just
told me,
have
she
to
said,
listen.
stop scorning her. Because I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And my best friend, listen to her. A lot of people don't even have their daughters talking to them. Your daughter tells you everything. She talks to you. You don't want to cut that off. And my daughter told me, she said, Ma, sometimes I just need you to listen. Sometimes I just need you to trust me. Sometimes you don't think I'm thinking that, what you're saying. I already know my mother. So I'm just like, oh, let me shut up. Do a Letitia, I'm proud of you.
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
That's my husband. The difference between me and my husband, we could be sitting there and my son will be telling us the same story. And my husband will go like, this, and I'm listening. I'm not even listening to this anymore and walk away. And I'm just like, okay. Go ahead. okay. And I just let him talk because he's talking. But sometimes, everybody's different. Everybody can't take, the nonsense that come out of these kids.
You're lying. And then I said, Diamond, you are not a storyteller. Get to the point of the story, please, because I'm not gonna be sitting here for 30 years. I ain't get the punchline yet. Like you ain't get no.
She like to tell stories.
Yeah, but at least my stories be interesting. I'll be like, okay.
Yours is interesting.
And then so child, get to the point of the story.
So fast forward.
So, ladies, we said what our love languages are. Without, we didn't really hear it from you like that, but
I told you all of them.
all of them. I want it all. And your friendships as well.
Yeah, Tamika knows.
Oh, God.
So, anybody want to leave a little love tip? I can't because I'm still finding myself, y'all. But give a little something for the people.
I want to tell a story.
Go right ahead.
So, August of last year, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. So I got my heart broken for the first time ever in my life. And it was horrible because no one has ever said no to me, broken up to me, nothing. And in this breakup, my friend said to me, she's like, "Do you love yourself?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, of course I love myself." And she was like, "No, do you really love yourself?" And I was like, "Let me call you back." And I sat there and I was like, "Do you love yourself?" And I found out that I didn't. Like, no matter the accomplishments that I've had, school and my house and my cars and whatever it is, I didn't love myself. And I really had to really search deep down and find out, like, what do you like to do? Where do you like to go? What do you like about yourself? And it took a long time and it hurt. It hurt a lot. And between August and September or maybe October, like I started therapy and going through those prayer stuff, and it really had me sit back and say to myself, like, look at everything around you. Like, everybody admires you, everyone loves you, and why is it that you're not loving yourself? Why are you committing acts of suicide? Like, why are you thinking about these things that are, in your mind? And so many things around you are so beautiful. And you're gonna find love. You're gonna find love. You're gonna find your acts of your services. You're gonna find it, but you have to find something about yourself that you love. Like, no one can tell you what you could love. No one can show you what to love. No one can pull you and tell you stories. Like, you have to search for that by yourself. And it's hard, and it's lonely, and it's disgusting, and it hurts. And I was hurt a lot just finding out about myself. And what happened now is I'm so full of love, like, nobody can hurt my feelings. Like, I'm just like, whatever, like, okay, this didn't go well, like, fine. And I've been through so many things. Like, we'll have to say another episode for that, but I've been through a lot that you guys would look at me and be like, oh shit, excuse my language, like, I would never think, because of your disposition is so sweet and friendly, but it's because I had to learn, okay, the things that I went through is not going to determine who I love or what I love. I didn't even know how to love a man. I didn't know how to love my kids because I didn't know how to love myself. And now 360, I feel like everything is so different in my life. Like, I'm learning to love. My children are seeing it. My work, I'm putting out such beautiful stuff at work. But I had to find it. And I had to find it. And it hurts finding it. So I'll leave that to say, you might not know what your love language is now, but once you figure it out within yourself, everything is going to flow.
Nice.
That was good words. I love
Teach. That's what's up.
Teach.
Tamika?
Oh, everybody has to say something. No, basically what April and Tisha said, like, in order to know your love languages in relationships, whether it was your children, your friend, or your significant other, you have to, basically what they said, that's like the bottom line. You have to know yourself and love yourself first. So that's what I took from everybody. That was nice. I'm about to go into some deep searching this week. Because, I don't have work anymore, so,
Oh my gosh, that's cool, Tisha.
Listen, like Kirk Franklin, love is a word that comes and goes. But few people really know what it means, right?
Right.
To really love somebody. But you know, it's basically you want that love that you seek. You have to be like everyone else said. I'm gonna piggyback off of what's been said already. You have to love yourself first in order to receive the love that's out there. You know, give love. Love each other, and in all that you do, don't forget about God. You know, because I just have a little thing to say real quick. So, you know, with my relationship, I went through a little mishap a few weeks ago, and 2 days ago, I want to say, but Wednesday, and I started praying in the morning, because, you know, in the morning I listen to my gospel music, because that's what starts my day. And I started praying, but then I could not stop crying. And I'm like, God, what is going on? But then, you know what? And I said in my prayer, I'm sorry, because I felt that with me being in this relationship, I got so entwined with the guy and I forgot about you. So put God in everything that you do. Remember, we serve a jealous God. And I just, you know, just love yourself so you can give everyone the love that you seek for yourself. Be the change that you seek. That's it.
Yes. Now I gotta go after her.
Yeah.
You didn't go after her.
Look, too deep and
Right? Too deep.
Alright, the only thing I have to say really, don't let people put you in a box. Y'all can have all 5 love languages. Okay? No, seriously, because people say, oh, why you have to have, oh, you too much. I can't be bothered with you. You too much to handle. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you're too much. Because there's going to be somebody out there that's going to give you all 5 of your love languages. Okay?
Yep.
I get all 5. I just
Go
don't
find
necessarily want all 5.
See? She got it already. See? So there you go.
She searched all over. No, I'm just kidding. Leslie.
I just want to piggyback, Jamila. That's the first thing I was thinking is you don't have to settle. I used to work in a barbershop, and I remember a guy told me, he said, oh, you waiting for this knight in shining armor. Well, I'm like all of y'all, I'm like Tish, I serve a mighty God. And guess what? He knows he made me as complicated as I may be, flawed, don't have it all together, and there's somebody that's going to love me and do the research and do the homework. So I just say to anybody, do not settle. If you're not happy, why stay? And if it's not something that somebody's willing to work on or change, and it's just not about love language, it's just about everyday living, and 20 or 30 years go by and just to save face or worry about what the neighbors are going to say. If you're not happy, don't stay there if it's something that somebody's not willing to work on, because you deserve love, we deserve love, everybody deserves to be loved genuinely. But don't just want it, also be willing to give it back.
Nice. April. Got all the love.
I know, right? I do. My kids, they be dissing me, but, you know. My husband, he's good. He be showing me all the love. I get all the love. He's probably taking care of the kids. One of them probably cool. But I would say that I would like to piggyback off of Tisha and Leslie. When it comes to my father, he gives me all the love. He loved me so much that he gave us his only begotten son. If he's gonna give us his son, come on now, y'all gonna have to come through, because he said all the things of my heart desire shall be mine as long as it's with his will, and his will is that I am loved, and that you are loved, and that we are loved. Don't receive and don't accept anything less. Like, you can't. A lot of the times we put our all into certain things. We put our all into our children. We put our all into these relationships.
Right.
And what did you say?
He's a jealous God. And we forget about him.
He said it.
We forget about him.
Right. And he wants to give us the things that we desire if it's his will. Right? That's all you got to remember. And everything else will fall into place.
Definitely.
Thank you guys for joining us for our love talk on episode 3 of Mommy Crew Talks. Do not forget to like, subscribe, even comment. Let us know what your love language is. And see us next episode.